Okay, so my name is Harrison. I'm an air traffic controller and an airport firefighter here at Caernarfon Airport, and that role involves the air ground operations in the tower, and on a Sunday I'm an airport firefighter here as well. I started at Caernarfon as a voluntary role really when I was 14, and then I progressed into the tower and began as an air traffic assistant, and on my 18th birthday, which was 3 years ago now, I qualified as an air ground operator, which is where I am today. So to become an air traffic controller here at Caernarfon, you have to undertake training, which is all provided in-house, which involves weather training on meteorological observations, which means you have to make a weather report every 30 minutes essentially. So we're trained in that, and we're also trained as an air ground operator, which is a level of licence we operate here at Caernarfon. That involves an in-house course which consists of a practical and a written exam. So to become a firefighter at the airport, I have to undertake again in-house training, with the exception of the first aid, which is provided externally. It requires doing exercises on the airport's fire truck and doing live burns, which is essentially where we train by burning fuel, and we have to respond and put out the fire. Our response time here at Caernarfon is 2 minutes for a helicopter and 3 minutes for an aircraft accident. That's from when the alarm is dropped to pumping water, so that involves getting kitted up as well. So we train quite often to stay on top of that quite challenging response time.
Practice, crash. We've got a crashed aircraft at the training ground.
Fire 1 mobile. Fire 1 tower, clear to cross 25.
Come on, you up there, no reporting traffic.
Roger. Fire 1 entering 25 at Bravo.
Fire 1, Roger.
Fire 1 in attendance.
Okay, boys. Fire 1, Roger. Let's go, guys.
Water on!
You've still got a bit on the side. You've got it's on the cone, you see. You want to cone it in a bit more. Stand further back. Stand further back. Okay, so leave it there. Okay.
I think the most enjoyable thing about my role here at Caernarfon is the busy summer days and the satisfaction you get with moving in all the aircraft and dealing with the operations day to day. There's a real buzz to the place when it's really busy in the summer, and I think that would be my favourite thing about this role. I think what first got me into it really was my big passion for aviation I've had since I was little. It's always been a passion of mine, GA and things like the Coast Guard and the Air Ambulance. That's always been my avenue of aviation. So it was just really a natural progression really to go into a role like this, a role which is so diverse, and you can deal with the military, the Coast Guard, civilians, all in the same airspace in the same day. So I think that's what led me to this role really, is just the preference for this sort of aviation, you know, the military and the general aviation aspect of things. So probably my most cherished memory here at Caernarfon is when we had a formation of 4 F-15s do a low flyby of the airfield. That was quite a memorable moment. There is one other notable moment where we had a Sea King, which was after it had finished service, come up from historic helicopters down south, and it stayed here for the day, and they let us have a good look around it, and it did a bit of a display for us as well as it left. So that was a pretty cherished memory as well. The Sea King being one of my favourite aircraft. Caernarfon all stations. Caernarfon Radio is now closing. Caernarfon Radio out.
My name's David Lane. I'm the manager of the Aviation Museum here at Caernarfon Airport. Worked here about 13 years now, and in the museum, as you come in, we've got a Westland Whirlwind helicopter, we've got the front half of a Gloucester Javelin. You go around the corner, there's a DH Seahawk, there's a Vampire, we have a Hawker Hunter, and then down the far end, a rather unique aircraft, we've got a T2 Harrier. That's the famous jump deck. It's a bit unusual, and it's a 2-seater. Oh, we've got a Flying Flea and also a replica Blériot. My favourite aircraft in the museum would have to be the Hawker Hunter, which I think is quite a beautiful aircraft. It's an amazing looking thing. Yes, definitely. Outside of the museum, I think my favourite aircraft would have to be the F-16 fighter, which is a fantastic machine. The museum is located on an airfield which is the former RAF Llandorog. The airfield opened in 1940, and it was used as a training base for training bomber crews. They weren't training pilots, but they were training navigators, wireless operators and air gunners. The airfield was well out of the way from Europe, but it was only ever attacked once by a German bomber returning from Liverpool. The airport's main claim to fame is that it's here in 1943 that the RAF Mountain Rescue Service was created. If you look east from the airport, you'll see all the mountains of Snowdonia. And a lot of aircraft were being lost up there, and hence the formation of the Mountain Rescue Service. After the war finished, the Allies rounded up thousands of tons of German nerve gas bombs, Tabun, Sarin, and all the Tabun bombs were shipped here. About 10,000 of them, stored in 24 hangars on the runway here for several years. before being shipped off up to Scotland to be disposed of. We have got one of the bombs down the far end of the museum for people to look at. Well, I have a number of different jobs. I enjoy making the interactive exhibits. Anything you see here where you push a button to make it work, I've done that. I really enjoy doing that. But I think the best bit is seeing visitors coming out of the museum, and I reckon that at least 30% of them say that they weren't expecting this. They weren't expecting there to be so much. It's a bit like Doctor Who's TARDIS, that you go in through that door and it's a lot bigger than you expect. And it's just seeing the sheer satisfaction of people leaving the museum. Some of them are quite moved by what they've seen here, so that makes the job very worthwhile. Aircraft based here during the wartime years, mostly Avro Ansons used for navigator and wireless operator training, but there are also Armstrong Whitleys, the bomber, which led to a very unfortunate accident when two Whitleys collided over the airfield, and they were both packed with air cadets, and I think there was something like 17 or 18 fatalities. Very sad. But you also had Lysanders operating from here. The occasional Hawker Hurricane would drop in, but they were mostly based at Penrose, a few miles down to the south. Oh, cherished memory. I think getting the Blériot replica hoisted back up into the air, because it had sat at the back of the museum in bits for many years, and we had a French lad come over on sort of, as an intern during the summer holidays, and so it seemed natural to give him the Blériot to refurbish. And about a year later, over the winter, 3 or 4 of us, we rehoisted the Blériot hanging from the ceiling, which was a joy of a job to do, and it's great to see it finally lifted up. We did a time-lapse video of all this, which you can find on our website, but yeah, that was great to see that back up in the air. I quite like it when we have a visitor coming out of the museum and they say, I've flown in that aeroplane. We have a cadet glider hanging from the ceiling, and quite a few people have come out and say, I soloed in one of these, or I've actually flown in that one. And the Harrier itself, we've had a couple of people in who have flown in it or worked on it, so that's always nice to see.